Well, good morning and welcome to Bill Ricardi's weekly Patreon update. I, of course, am Bill Ricardi. I'm a writer of fiction, specifically fantasy, urban fantasy, as well as high fantasy. Today we're going to be talking about a little bit of urban fantasy because I've been plugging away at Cadence. Cadence being the sequel to Rhythm, the adventures of Isidore and of Lucas, and it's been going great. I was a little bit afraid that this story being the middle story, kind of the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy, and I don't always use that formula, but in this case it seemed appropriate. I was worried it was going to drag. I was worried it was going to drag emotionally, that there was going to be a lot of down points. But as it turns out, there are quite a few achievements, quite a few up points to counteract the protagonist's trouble, to ensure that Lucas and Isidore are not depressing figures in any way. They're still heroic, and even with the downturn that is to come late in the book, I'm not afraid of the way it's going to be received. I think it's going to be received quite well. The heroes will still come off as heroic, and the antagonists, though they will make significant gains, have not totally dominated the board. They haven't completely run the board in this book, and that was the goal: is to achieve some sort of balance while giving the antagonists significant gains, and that's what happens. I tend to talk a lot about plot points and the way that they impact a series because I think in trilogies, you know. But in this book, there are several plot points that start to tie up the lore of the series, if you know what I mean. And I think one of the big things that motivated that is that I have a separate series of short stories, currently just one short story, but that separate series of short stories taking place in the American South is really solidifying the way that I treat the mythos. So it's been great. Still Standing is the name of that short story. It's available online, but I'll throw a link into the description as well. It's really helped me to create a second hero that has a fairly different set of goals than Lucas. And that's crystallized what I'm doing with the books. So it's great. It's good to think outside the box sometimes. Finally, I started a Facebook page, and that Facebook page is Me Smart Orc, of course. What else would it be? But that Facebook page is actually in preparation for the possibility of being accepted into a prestigious writers advertising program that offers a scholarship once a year, and we really, really could use that scholarship. It will help us on the advertising side, on the education side, on all the things that I'm kind of lacking in my career right now. If I get accepted, it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of extra work, maybe another 20 hours of work a week, on top of my 50 or so, but it'll be worth it. It's going to allow you to catch up on the advertising side and take advantage of the knowledge of people who have done this before. So there you go. They say that the fifth book is when you're supposed to break out. Well, I haven't quite broken out yet, so it's time to reach out there and get as much help as possible. That's gonna do it for me. It's actually not too bad here in Belfast. So later on when I head outside, it shouldn't be too chilly. Hopefully the weather's warming up for everyone else who's in a cold spot, and cooling down for people who are, in the likes of Australia and what have you. I saw the temperatures for the Australian Open, and that was just insanity. So hopefully everyone's seen more temperate weather this week, and I just hope everyone stays safe and healthy out there, and we'll see you next week.